Chapter 246. I Can't Stop Laughing. Imoto is mine! So easy. The instant I baited her with her brother Imada-kun, Imoto-chan completely folded. While she might emotionally regard her brother as the pinnacle of existence, it seems she's able to logically recognize the difference in strength between Yamada-kun and me. I'll accept whatever you do to me. Just leave Onisama alone. That was a proposal she bravely gave to me herself. I made her cry, huh? Instead, I can't stop laughing, though. But after that, it dragged out. Imoto-chan began the speech on her brother. That old guy magician from some time ago seemed to have given a drawn-out speech as well, though, so there's something about single-minded humans that makes him talk for such a long time, I wonder. There's also me who had to listen to the whole damn thing because I couldn't find the timing to interrupt. There's still this echo in my ear going, Onisama this, Onisama that, Onisama. Hey, numblegs, do your job. Eventually, I did indeed hear everything about Onisama, from Chapter 1, his greatness, to the final chapter on how he will eventually become God. The 7th chapter on child prodigy Onisama was rather interesting. Thanks to that, it took a very long time until we finally got down to business. I'm so glad I'd set up time management. So, in return for me leaving the great Onisama alone, I made Imoto-chan promise 4 things. 1. To not intervene with Natsume-kun at all from now on. 2. To prioritize acquiring any of the humility, kindness, or chastity skills. 3. Always carry one of my clones, the one the size of a fingertip, and abide by its orders. 4. Don't talk to anyone about me. The first is just in case she attacks Natsume-kun again after I release him. The second is worth a shot. After all, unless someone has a lot of talent, it seems they can acquire ruler skills. Moto-chan does seem to have the talent, but I'm seriously doubtful about whether she'll be able to acquire any of them still. As such, I won't hold out that much hope, and will consider it lucky if she's able to gain any. The third is to help reinforcing my monitoring. Now, I will no longer need to act so stealthily in Yamada-kun's vicinity. I don't expect to be giving many instructions, though. Currently, there's not really much for Imoto-chan to do for me anyways. Though maybe the day will come that the situation changes and I need Imoto-chan to do something. The fourth is an obvious precaution. Eventually, even Imoto-chan's legs reached their limit, so I gave her the instructions, handed over the clone, and then released her. At the time, I also provided healing for her legs as a special service in anticipation of future achievements. Unlike with Natsume-kun, it's not necessarily the case that it would have been better to erase her memory and place a parasitic clone in her brain. But I've kind of given up on that. If I were to give a reason why, then it's because I feel that with the method it seems like she probably wouldn't be able to acquire a ruler skill. Ruler skill seems the sort where you can only acquire them on the basis of the innermost depths of your heart's desires and thoughts. For me, pride, patience, and sloth were like that. Charity just happened to fall into my hands, so it's an exception, I guess. For someone like Natsume-kun who has a pointless amount of energy just floating around, then it's a different story, though. But normally, unless you desire something from the bottom of your heart, then I think that it's probably not possible to acquire ruler skills. In that case, even if I used a clone as a parasite to guide her thinking, a ruler skill wouldn't start to develop. For ruler skills that Imoto-chan could possess, chastity and humility seem about right. So there's a charity and a chastity. I was probably right before when I said them. I don't know. Envy seems about right for her to possess as well, but that's already been taken, though. For chastity, she's devoted to her Onisama. For humility, Onisama is the best in the world, so she's second at most. Yep, they're totally gettable. For kindness, let's just not go there. Now then, I've released Imoto-chan, given suggestions to Natsume-kun, and also erased the memory of the guards who fainted during the tussle. This way, there's now nobody who knows about Imoto-chan's reckless incident. What's this? While the actual event occurred just recently in real time, in practice it feels like an age has passed. Now's not the time for that. I guess I should check up on Sensei. I was somehow able to prevent the collapse of Sensei's soul. I prevented it, but it's not like there's no damage either. Several of her skills have vanished for one thing, and her status value probably also dropped. Most of all, the total size of her soul is reduced, though there's no indication of that in her status. For skills like automatic HP recovery and accelerated MP recovery, where does the recovery come from? Even if it's a fantasy world, it's not like the law of conservation of mass is no longer applicable, you know? Likewise, it could be said that something like the law of conservation of soul energy exists too. If the status values are based on the power of the soul, then restoration is also based on using the power of the soul. Unlike the power of the soul that is not already written in the status values, therefore for Sensei, with the power of her soul having significantly declined, restoration of neither HP nor MP will occur. And so, within Sensei's body, as a substitute for the power of the soul that was lost, her own body should be being broken down for the purpose of providing energy. In short, even if nothing happens to her, her body will be covered in wounds. Sure enough, when I go check up on Sensei, she's lying on a bed while smearing in blood. With her hollow cheeks, her originally small body has become even smaller. She's become so scrawny that you'd think she hadn't eaten a proper meal in many months, and if that wasn't enough, her skin is flaking away. I guess it's as if automatic HP recovery has gone into reverse. This is literally shaving off Sensei's body. Sensei's condition is even worse than I had assumed. If it's like this, then unless she gets treatment from someone else, she'll die. When I wonder why it's so bad, the answer comes forth. So as to not expose her wretched state to her students, she's still preserved in pretending to be fine. Normally, she should only have collapsed from weight loss and no more. Instead, Sensei gritted through the pain, and as a result, she has exacerbated it further instead. Normally, to come from practice come from the practice grounds all the way back here by herself would be unbearable. After all, it's at the level where she should absolutely have collapsed to the grounds and gotten medicine treatment there. Really, this person is something else. Isn't it too much for a single person to carry anything and everything on their back? That is so much like Sensei, though. I perform medical treatment on Sensei. The wounds heal and her ruined complexion recovers. I can't restore the power of the soul that she has lost, but the abnormalities in her body should stop now at least. Though she's lost a bit of body weight, it just has to eat for that to return to normal. Also, let's include a little trick while at it as well. Footsteps. I teleport, departing from the room, naturally after leaving a clone. The one who comes into a room is Potamus. With no concern for the sick person, he violently opens the door and strides towards Sensei. Potamus looks down on Sensei with the cool indifference of someone looking at a laboratory animal, and he deliberately grabs hold of her hand. A single click of the tongue. He removes his hand from Sensei's head. Oh yeah, he grabbed her head, I guess. Loser. Maybe this should be said that the silver lining of her injuries from this incident, as part of Potamus's soul that has been grafted onto Sensei's soul, has vanished. I think that it's likely that it was sacrificed by the presentation skill. Say, are you frustrated? Well, it's just a part. Are you frustrated at losing part of your soul? And naturally, there's no way I would pass up the chance I had. The little trick I'd prepared earlier was for protection on Sensei's soul. Now Potamus can't interfere with Sensei anymore. In addition, the biggest reason why I couldn't interfere with Potamus has vanished. Next, if I could just do something about his ruler authority, then I'd be able to cast this piece of shit down to the bottom of hell. It seems that Sensei's waking up. Are you conscious? Potamus, where am I? Your own room. Sensei's gaze is unfocused. Is she still half asleep? My injuries, did you heal them for me, Potamus? Yeah, I did. Oh, really? Damn it. It's hard for me to not come forward here. Damn you, Potamus. Maybe he felt my killing intent, as Potamus quickly looks around the room. Well, fine, I shall ignore you for now. He didn't do anything unnecessary to Sensei either, and now that he can no longer take hold of Sensei, I'm finished with him, and if he tries to perpetrate anything, my restraints are waiting for him. I'm now looking forward to the day I can take his head, quake in your boots while waiting for that time. Yep, Emoto get. Hey, only two. Translator notes. I almost said author notes. There aren't many author notes in this one. Alright, whatever. Yeah.